All right, we're going to start here, boys and girls, with shading. And I'm not sure entirely why, but for whatever reason, this is my favorite place to start shading a drawing. Usually the shading next to the bridge of the nose there is pretty subtle. It's something that I often have to darken as I go through and darken other parts of the drawing. I often come back and darken those shadows some as well. But that is my favorite place to start. And actually my favorite shading tool I didn't show you yet. It is the right side of my right pinky finger. So you cannot use the right side of my right pinky finger, but you can use your fingers for shading if you want to. So this practice paper here that I put some dark value on, I'm going to be actually getting some of that value onto my finger and using my fingers to do some of the shading work here. I'll use the other tools as well here and there, but this is probably my favorite tool and I'm most efficient with it. So I want to be efficient in our demonstration here for you so that you can spend most of your time working on your drawing. So I'm going to start with that edge there, that shadow that's kind of by the bridge of the nose. And I'm hopeful that you're able to see some of that shadow showing up on the screen there. I'm going to darken just kind of this inside part maybe a little bit more. And then we'll add some shading on this part of the nose. There's a little bit here on the outside. We'll put in a little bit down here at the tip of the nose. And then we'll get a little value up here on the opposite side on the bridge of the nose. That shadow's not quite as dark. That side right there. I think that went a little far into the nose. So I'm going to take my kneaded eraser and just pull that back a little bit. And then I don't know if you can tell or not, but there's a little bit of a crisp line right here, which is not super natural looking. So any of my fingers that are clean can just kind of smear and fuzz that out. And I'm definitely using some pressure with my fingers when you see me use my fingers, but it's not, I'm not like super duper scrubbing my paper. So that's just a little note for you for your own work. The next thing I think I'm going to use is this blending stump. We'll get some pencil or graphite on this as well, and you can see how easily that blending stump picks that up because there's a few spots that I can't get to very well with the edge of my finger, or the edge of my finger is just too thick or too big to really work well in those spaces. So I'm going to add a little bit of value here with our blending stump, and this will start to help us see a few of those details a little bit more clearly. I'm not quite down to the detail level of doing the nostrils yet, and the nostrils in her photograph, this might be true in yours too, are not actual ovals as much as they are just sort of darkened curves. It's more of a curved area there than it is an actual oval. So that's what I'm going to try to represent in my drawing as well. It's pretty easy to come back and make any of these spots darker. So feel free to work kind of light at first, especially while you're getting the hang of these tools and how the pencil's going to move on your good paper for you. That'll help you feel comfortable for when it's time to go back and darken some areas if you need to do that. All right, I think my blending stump has done a pretty good job here. Hopefully that's starting to look like a nose from your perspective. I think I need to bring the bridge of the nose here back just a little bit more too. It seems just a sneak narrow at the top there. And then we'll kind of fuzz that edge. I think I like that better. All right, let's do a little work there on the very base of the nose or that nostril area. So I'm going to take this blending stump and I've got some pencil on it, and what I want is I just want a little bit of area darker here. I'm not convinced that blending stump's going to do enough work for me, so I'm actually going to grab my pencil. And the nice thing about pencil is that none of it is like super duper dark. Like if we were working with charcoal, we would definitely have to be careful about how hard we pressed to create this little area here, but this pencil is not terribly dark, and so we can have a little more freedom with that pressure. And then I think I'm going to just smooth this out a little bit with that blending stump. Hopefully you can tell there's a little bit of a texture difference there as we smooth that out. As I'm looking at her photograph, there's a couple of little sort of subtle shadows that I think we'll add here just for fun, because we can. Make that a little bit deeper right there. All right, and she's got a nose.